Hi, we're going to be doing 10 tags in 10 minutes. So let's see how well I do on this one. I have the timer set up on the upper left hand corner, and I'm going to be using some stamp sets from M.I.S.T.I stamps. I'm using the tag sayings for the tag outline and the holiday labels for the sentiment in the tags. I've pre-cut my tags, so I hope that's not cheating, but it was just way easier to do it off camera. So I'm just lining up my stamps, and I do line them up with the grid paper, and I'll be stamping these in Crumb Cake from Stampin' Up. And I am going to be stamping them onto the grid paper, that way I could use the negative space from the tags to line up my die cuts. I'm just going to put some ATG adhesive around the edges of my negative space. And I'm just centering them over the stamped image on the grid paper. That way when I drop in my die, it'll be centered on, the image will be centered on the die. And I'm doing this to both tags, and we're going to be stamping both tags at the same time. I'm just showing you that I'm using the medium tags from M.I.S.T.I stamp. And I'm dropping the tags into the negative space there. I've sped parts of this up, and other parts I've slowed down for the purpose of not being too bored or dragging this out. But making multiple tags is it's a good gift to give over the holidays, and it's easy and it's inexpensive, and it's something that people do like and appreciate, and they'll get used, and they might get used several times if they just write on the back of the tag to and from in pencil. And also, another thing to point out is if your die cutting plates are very well loved, the lines on your die cut, the lines on your plate will show up on your die cut. So how I work around that is I just take a couple of sheets of scratch paper and put that underneath my paper so that the scratch paper takes the imprint and the back of the die cut looks okay. So this is the last of the die cuts. And you also notice that the lid is full of ink, and not a bit of that ink is on the grid paper. Now I'm going to be doing the sentiment from the holiday labels. And I'm going to do the little image first before I do the sentiment, because I'd like to do the sentiment all in the same color. The little tree that's in this set has these cute little Christmas lights that match. And so I want to stamp those in red, so I want to do all my red stamping all at once. So I'm just lining up my image and my sentiment just for placement on my die. And then I realized that if I just remove the die, then I could use the grid lines to line up my little images there. And I did use the Paper Tray Ink Vintage Cream cardstock. I do like their cardstock. It's very thick, and they make really good card bases. Oh, please excuse my crazy hair there. So I'm just picking up my images there, and I'll be stamping the Christmas tree in the Simply Chartreuse, and the snowflake I will be stamping in Aqua Mist. And I did not prime my stamps, and so I do have to restamp them, but it's not an issue since I can double stamp without a problem. This would also be good for like kids to use for Valentine's Day cards. And just to have little cards to put on gift bags, and thank you gifts and housewarming gifts. You can just make a few and have those on hand to put on your little gift bags. And I made a ton of these over Thanksgiving last year when I first made M.I.S.T.I, and I gave these away in little gift boxes to people at church, and it was a nice inexpensive gift to give to them, and it was personalized, and so people really did enjoy them. And in a second I realized that my die cut's not in place there, so just making sure each time that your die cut sits in there. And if you have trouble with that, what you can do is put a little bit of adhesive on the bottom on the grid paper, and it'll hold it in place, but then then you got to pry it up, so it's usually not an issue. And this is the last of the tags, and of course the last one I have to double stamp because I didn't get a good image. So I want to figure out where to put my sentiment. It looks like that one needs to be restamped too. I must not have liked that as well. And so I'm restamping the image into the grid paper. That way I could line up my Christmas lights on that. And I'm just propping up the unit so that I could get a better glimpse at it, and I'm not putting my head in the way. And then I'm also putting the sentiment on there. And one of the sentiments, the one that I'm messing with now, that one had a little scroll on top, and I just trimmed it off. And I've never used the little scroll. I've used the sentiment by itself several times. And so I'm inking up the sentiment and the lights in Paper Tray ink, Pure Poppy. And I'm at 8.5 minutes here, so I think I make it just under. And if you think about it, you can't, I don't think I've ever seen anyone make tags 2 at a time. So I'm pretty impressed with myself, if I do say so. And if you do, write it in the comments below and show me how you did it. So on the back of these, you can just leave them blank, or you could find a stamp that has the to and the from and put those on there. And the tag sayings does have that, but I find that the line is too short for me to write a person's name in. So I usually just tie these onto the bag or the bow just for decoration more than anything else. And I'm just about up with time and I made it. Looks like it was 9:53. So thanks for watching.